This is the Foxy Stylist Training Manual, and in this episode we're going through it. This is something that every stylist at Foxy goes through from start until they graduate as a Foxy Stylist, and in this episode Phoebe is going to take you through it. We're going to jump straight in at the start of the training manual where a new stylist on day one would begin, or their first week, and then we're going to take you right through until they graduate as a Foxy Stylist. We have some examples, on-site job examples of the training that happens, so we'll be showing you that. So let's go to Phoebe to get started.
I've pulled together the module based on how I felt the entire process would run together. There's a theoretical and a practical component. Day one with us, they get this module. So we start with some housekeeping, go through everything that they need to know, our annual leave guidelines. It's very much setting us up with our HR policies as well as our team communication, getting us all set. They then will move on to module one. Module one really very much is that very first contact that somebody has while they're with us. The admin module as well as this one and work together. So they go out, they do their observation, they learn their expectations as a stylist, expectations as working with us at Foxy, what I expect of them, what they can expect from me, how they fall in line with their stylist, everyone who works around them, and then general guiding principles of working here with us. That module one is a protected 2-week observation, something that I find incredibly important. See how conversations happen, see how we work, see the things that are important to us as a business, us as people, and that the way they can be reflective of our brand moving forward. Once this 2-week observation is up, they then move on to module 2. This is where they start working on more of the practical components of our job. They've got a grounding on it, they've seen everything in their first 2 weeks. We then start exploring these a little bit more. So we get them to start making some beds. These beds are ones that they are going to make on site as well as pull together at the warehouse. So this is them getting the knowledge from what they've seen out on site for 2 weeks, and then when they go and concentrate on being as a styling assistant basically, then they can use this knowledge from what they see being pulled together really nicely on site, that they can start using this at the warehouse to create the same level of installation. They also will go through a component of learning artwork installation. So we go through this, and every person in our warehouse knows how to hang artwork. So we hang it ourselves. There is enough training on there that everybody knows how to do it correctly. And it's something that's really important that's learned from the outset. That is a very intimidating component. Most people are very scared of hanging artwork, and it's only combated by doing it a lot. So they get signed off on that. The other bit that they do is everybody in this warehouse also knows how to do a pack up of a property. So that's when we go in after the styling's finished, the hire period's done, the house is sold, and we go and collect everything. It's not as simple as just pack it up and get it in the truck. There is a process that we follow to make sure that we've got all the right furniture coming back, as well as nothing breaks. We do it in the right order so that it's efficient for the boys who are going to load it into the truck. That's very much a component that Jake works on with everybody, knowing both the stylist side of it as well as the truck side of it, making it as efficient as we can. They also set up their Instagram part of that, so getting the social media aspect as a representative of our brand, but also for a lot of research, making sure they know what is on trend, what presents nicely, what colors are matching really nicely together, and getting a lot of inspiration, making sure that we're on par with other stylists in Australia and abroad. That's module 2. Once they have this grounding and this knowledge, so basically my expectation is that they're going to pump out 20 to 50 beds that are a double bed, 20 to 50 beds that are a queen bed, probably 10 to 20 king beds, and then definitely show me a range of single beds, both being made on site as well as pulled together and made from the warehouse. There needs to be numbers under their belt. The only time this changes is someone comes from a visual merchandising background. For example, Ebony came from Pillow Talk. There can't possibly be the expectation I get her to pump that out when that was what she did every day, and she did amazingly at it. So that's when it changes. So then we move to module 3. You've got the grounding and the understanding of what's important and how to pull things together. What we work on theoretically in module 3 is our first impression principles. So where we're going to place all of our furniture, the rules and my non-negotiables, so that the level of installation you provide as a stylist here is on par with how I would present it. It's really important that I have these as guidelines, because how can we possibly expand and me be happy with everybody's creativity if we don't have guidelines to work within? So we've spoken about these rules previously, things like where to position the sofa. We use TVs, but we never ever want them to be the first thing you see when you walk in a room, making sure your light bulbs match, all of those sorts of things. They also will go through the process the administrative process of being a lead stylist. Lead stylist is the term that we use for somebody that is in charge of a styling installation. So that is the stylist himself. That's the person who has pulled the whole job together. That's the person that's the lead coordinator for everything. They coordinate between the team. They coordinate with me. They make sure that the admin after a job is done correctly. That way there is nothing that falls down when we move on and have our inventory system managed, or the job is done to a perfect level. If there's something left behind at a pack up, everything is annotated, they're in charge and across everything. Way that we then build that, the rest of the modules are then very much focused on the size of the properties that we're styling. So we focus to start with on a very small vacant property. Hayley is at the moment we're working with vacant properties. That's how we start with all of our stylists. You start with vacant, then you move to integrated. Integrated has a whole lot more thought process to it. Vacant properties are far more straightforward. We start off with 1-bedroom installations. This one is a little bit different. I'm doing this one with Hayley today because there's a tricky layout. To have me on site when you're talking through a tricky layout, it's really important and a really good learning tool. Ideally, we're starting off with just a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom unit. One living space is the key for when we're starting out. So learning the layout of the sofa, learning the rules that we have. You've heard me talk about the rules before. So never having the back of the sofa visible, not having the TV visible, when to reject certain pieces of furniture, have the rug orientated the right way, have the bed on the right wall, ensure that all the light bulbs are the same cohesive color throughout, all of those types of things. We then will progress from this point once I'm happy, as well as once the stylist has the confidence that they're able to do this level of install solo. At that point, we'll then move to a property that has 2 living areas. 3 spreads in that kitchen because it's really big.
Yep.
Bathroom should be done pro and then standard layouts and things.
Okay. So I'll leave all that to the end, and then I'll just try and get all the art done. And we eventually ended up going with the bedhead.
Okay.
So
yeah. Well, that's something that you can question.
Yeah.
That's fine. I would probably go with bedhead over not almost every time unless it goes up with the window.
Yeah.
The window is the only reason I'll reject a bedhead.
Okay.
It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No. I think we see how it goes, and then we can hang the art underneath the aircon. Or would that be too much?
It's really low. I think what would look better is him on that wall and your pair stacked. If I wasn't here to make that call, your call is then try every arrangement.
Yes.
Yeah, and the boys are here to do that.
Okay.
They're here to change things around 3 times for you, so you can say, I tried that, it didn't look any good.
Yeah.
Vacant properties are by far the easiest for us to style. So we start off with a unit. Generally, it's got 1 living space. The reason I start off with 1 living space is because we can give the direction where the sofa will go, and then the rest of our team generally knows where everything else is going to go. You tell them where to position the sofa, it's obvious where the entertainment unit, TV, floor rug, coffee table are going. This then gives that lead stylist the ability to really think about and problem solve anything that may be an issue, or to mount up their artwork so they've got an extra set of hands when the boys are still on site. Or make the bed and then realize that, oh my goodness, I've forgotten the valance. Now I need somebody to go run and get it for me so I can get that sorted in the meantime. That's why we start with a 1-bedroom unit. There's less to coordinate and more time to think. We then will move on to the next module, which will then focus on a home that has 2 living spaces, still vacant. That's when we need to start seeing coordination between those living spaces. We need to see the colors being consistent. We need to see the style being consistent. Make sure we're not switching from golds to chromes. Make sure that we're not switching from a black and white living room to something that's pink and green. I need to see that consistency and the thought process throughout the entire install with the pops of color in the bedrooms. And that's the way that we style, different for different companies, but that's how it works here. We'll then progress to a really big home. So the really big homes are 5 bedrooms and 3+ living spaces. Again, it needs to be vacant. That's just more of the same, more of the coordinating, more of the understanding of who to direct to where, more of the consistency throughout, more so about getting those notches, those rungs underneath our belt, making sure we're getting the numbers. Because at the end of the day, I can tell you, you can get through all these modules, but unless you've done it that many installs, the understanding's not going to be there. From this, once we're happy that we're confident, not just myself, but the stylist as well, making sure that they are confident in the install, as well as all of the administrative tasks that come afterwards, we then will progress to an integrated style. So an integrated style is one where we're using some of the home owner's furniture. This comes with a layer of complexity. It comes with issues when we turn up on site and pieces are missing. It comes with issues when we turn up on site and nothing's moved. It comes with issues when we don't have a consistency or a blend of furniture or a style in a home, which most of us don't because we have pieces that we've bought over time. Being able to bring those things together, direct the team to tell them where to move things, knowing what's going to be a non-negotiable for the vendor when they're living there. So we need to have that study space in the kids' bedroom because they're a high school student. Or we need to have the study space, the office space downstairs where we would really love to put a 5th bedroom, but it can't because they're where they work from home. Having that layer of complexity is it's just about more thinking and more problem solving and giving the team the tools to be able to do that. So it's similar to a vacant. We start off with small, we work our way up to large. Sprinkled through all that is theoretical components. So I'm talking about target markets. I'm talking about choosing a theme in a property, and when we'd go down the path of going for something coastal versus contemporary. There's theoretical components sprinkled all the way throughout. So all the knowledge that I have is shared with all of our stylists so that they are equipped to make those decisions just like I am. The last thing we focus on is high-end properties. High-end properties come with a different level of thought process. So we want it to look amazing, but we pare it right back. So high-end is about less is very much as less is more, but that less needs to be far more luxe. And the way that you bring it together is dependent on those properties and the way that those agents like it. There's a lot more opinion involved when it comes to not just the homeowners, but the agents. So it's working with those to make sure that all those opinions are incorporated and presented beautifully at the end of the day. Like that's what it's all about. Graduation project, which you would have seen Kirsten working on hers last week.
This one can go in the corner.
Hey guys, all right, so we are on site. So this is at the very end of our Foxy training manual. So Kirsten's been with us now for, I don't actually even know, since February I think she came on board. So for the bulk of this year and for the duration of our very, very busy portion. So this is her graduation job. So what we have, you see the training manual all the way through. The most important part is for a stylist to understand the term of a lead stylist and what that involves when it comes to communication, getting the most productiveness and efficiency out of the full team, and being able to coordinate a really, really big team on site. So that's what's happening here today for Kirsten. So she's having to delegate, having to organise, having to have, I don't even know how many people are here on site here today, but she needs to make sure everybody's working really, really cohesively, making sure it's efficient, and then the end product is also her responsibility as well. So I am here today to watch what she is doing, to watch how she's talking and communicating, making sure she's projecting her voice, making sure she's present, and then obviously the end product is just as important as how she deals with the team. So the graduation project is something where it's a culmination of all of these rungs under somebody's belt, all of these numbers of being a lead stylist. They then should be able to coordinate a team. Like they need to be able to verbalize where things need to go. They need to get the most efficient and productive use out of whoever's on site, not just directing the boys where the furniture needs to go. They need to be able to direct the stylist which room is going to have what artwork and which bedroom we're going to, and know the property inside and out, remaining present and then getting the most out of everybody on the team. That's a skill that is learned, and it's a skill that is learned by doing it time and time again. And that's very much what our graduation project's about. I'm not taking too much notice of the end result. I need to know that they've thought about where they're putting the furniture, that they know the furniture names, and that they get the most out of the team to get a nice, efficient product happening very quickly. And then they get signed off, and then we have a celebration. Hey guys, so we are at Syl's graduation job. You would have seen last week we did Kirsten's, today we're at Syl's. So again, it's another 2-truck job. So it's nice and big, 6 bedrooms, 4 livings, 1 outdoor, 1 dining and 2 outdoor. So the whole idea here is seeing the communication, making sure we're getting effective distribution of staff throughout the entire property. This one had a couple of other things that we needed to consider with clients' furniture in here. Has made it a little bit more complex for Syl, but she's done awesome. And I think as far as ticking it off, making sure that somebody is a fully accredited trained stylist with us, the role of a lead stylist is so imperative to get it perfect, because otherwise everything falls down in the team. So it's not just on site, it's not just communication and logistics, it's the administration part afterwards, so that all has to get done perfectly. They become a Foxy stylist. So they're a training stylist up until the point and then become a we'll call it an accredited stylist if you want. And then from there, it's all about rungs on the belt, getting the understanding of how the team works, team management, leadership stuff. That's when they'll start going down the path of a senior stylist. You can't become a senior stylist if you don't have an understanding of the business behind everything, because that's very much a leadership role. Yeah, so Ebony was a couple of months ago going through her graduation project out at Brookwater, which I think most people saw. She has recently been, actually today, promoted to senior stylist, which is super exciting. So we are undergoing a bit of a structure change, which I'm sure you'll hear more about. As our team grows, we definitely need to have more structure and a bit more of a hierarchical system happening in our styling team as well as our logistics team. I have too much on my task list at the moment. I'm still doing stuff at nighttime, and I want to be able to enable the girls, empower them to be able to take some of this off my task list. Things like the stock selections, which have always been in my court. I'm going to help Ebony learn how to do them, and she's going to take them over.
Thank you, Phoebe, for running us through the Foxy Stylist Training Manual. It's up there with one of the most frequently asked questions we receive, like how do we train our staff? Can we have a look at your manual? So I really hope you found this informative. That is it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.